Welcome to Camp Constitution Radio with your host, Hal Shortwave. This show is heard every Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is brought to you by Camp Constitution. Among other things, we run a week-long summer camp, and we're going to be talking exclusively about that camp today, since the camp is less than 2 months away, and we have some guests, which I'll introduce in a few minutes. But I just want to encourage folks who are listening to the show to get onto our website, campconstitution.net, and you could see what we do at our camp, which is coming up July 12th to the 19th. You'll see a link to a YouTube channel, and shows you some of the great things we do, the fun we have, the wonderful instructions and classes, the field trips we're taking, and the list of the very well-versed instructors, and all the other things we do. We also have a camp bookstore where we have a number of items that either put back in print or we've actually published. We published several books in the last year or so. And if you'd like to be a camp sponsor, if you have a business, well, for really any size donation to Camp Constitution, we'll be able to put your business right on our camp sponsor page. Anyway, our camp has been growing steadily every year over the last, the first camp was in 2009, and we attract people from as far as Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, in fact, as far as western Michigan. But I have a family, the Kalis family, and they've been coming, I think, since 2010. Are you out there, Kalis family?
Yes, we are.
All righty. Okay. Well, I know there's a particular Kalis family member that she gets a calendar, and she marks off every day. So how many days are there till the next camp?
There's 54.
How many? 54?
Yep.
Well, that's coming right up. Okay. Well, this is Chris Kalis, and Chris lives in the Detroit area with his very lovely family. His wife's Tammy, and he's got little ones, and he's got, in fact, his 18-year-old should be a counselor this year. So, Chris, welcome, and family, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hal. We're glad to be here.
Well, Chris, you there's an old saying, the church alive is worth the drive. And I suppose you think that the camp alive is worth the drive, because you drive about 1,000 miles with your family.
Absolutely. We have made such dear friends, and being around a group of intelligent people like that, it's fun to be around fellow like-minded thinkers.
And you have you have your own business, a family-run business, so you take more than a week off, because you leave usually a day or so, 2 days ahead of time, get there a day before, and hang around for a day or two. So it's almost like a week and a half commitment for you.
It is. It's something that we look forward to each year. In fact, it's a huge topic of conversation throughout the whole year for all of us, especially our Gracie girl with the countdown. As soon as she gets home, she starts a new calendar, and it's game on from there.
All right, Gracie, are you there?
Yep.
All right, what's your favorite part of the camp? Is there a favorite part of the whole camp?
I like playing all the games and meeting everybody.
So it's the activity, the games, and also the friendships you've made, right?
Yeah.
Now, Chris is the recreational director. Chris, just sort of explain to the listeners, to the millions of listeners all over the world, the types of games that you're involved in that are challenging too.
We do a lot of things, and it's a lot of fun. We try to have tournaments with backgammon, the chess tournament, ping pong, volleyball, wiffle ball, foosball. We have a tug of war, which is our first activity out of the gate. There's a game that's been really popular the last 2 years. It's called Steal the Bacon, which is everybody gets to participate. It's a lot of fun. All kinds of activities on top of it. We climb mountains, we canoe, kayak, swimming, frog hunting. There's a nature walk. So there's never a moment.
And what if you're a nerd? What if you're not a gifted athlete like members of your family? What do we have for the nerds?
Well, there's again, they can participate in everything. They're included in everything. I mean, the mountain walk, you don't have to be a brainiac to climb up the mountain.
But what about
go swimming and frog hunting?
Chess tournament.
Chess tournament is certainly a popular thing. And the backgammon, I think I kind of load the deck there. I think one of my kids has been the champ for the last few years. So we got to get that game out there.
Well, what's nice, though, is that the little game you play, Steal the Bacon, I think that's something that's the very easiest. You use, but what's the object that you use? You put in the middle. You put in the middle of the field, right?
Yeah. What we do is we divide up in two big teams. We number our teams, say 1 to 15 or 1 to 25. Actually, it's probably 1 to 25. We got a pretty big group usually. And then I stand in the middle. They each spread out, make a line. And I call out a number, and they run to me and whatever I'm holding, which is the bacon. Usually we like to use a beach noodle, works out really good.
Okay.
And someone grabs it and runs back to their line. If they get back in time, they're in. If the other guy tags them, the guy who grabbed the noodle's out. And so it's a process of elimination. And with the numbering system, anybody can be against anybody. You can have, a 21-year-old against a 6 or 7-year-old, and that's
and the 6 or 7-year-old, like one of your little boys, is pretty agile, and you can probably escape from a 21-year-old. All right.
Well, in fact, I'll throw Chris Nowak under the bus if he's listening, or if not. My little Gussie took him out about 2 years ago, which would have put him at 5 or 6 years old, and Nowak was 22, 23 years old. So. The age is not a factor in whatsoever.
You know what's interesting, though, about our camp is that people from all age groups interact. Unlike, some experiences where the ages is all kind of divided up between grades, and people who are 12 don't talk to the 5-year-olds, and the people who are 14 don't talk to the 10-year-olds. But our camp, the adults relate very well with the children. Many of our children are homeschooled, not all of them, but a lot of them. And they seem to relate very, very well with the adults and with the people younger and older. Now, let me give you, for listeners, sort of a little rundown about how the camp starts on a Sunday. There's a handful of us that get there a day before to help set things up. Sunday afternoon, people will register their children or families, and many people have already sent their applications in, and it's just a question of picking up your name tags and getting a room or a cabin assignment. And when people think of camp, because everyone has different experiences, you might think of some tents on a soggy ground, and really bad food, and a lot of mosquitoes. And our camp is in the woods, so you can actually see the stars at night. But the accommodations are very, very comfortable. The food is outstanding. 3 really good meals a day. You've got snacks throughout the day, late night snacks or what have you. The boys will stay in a air-conditioned, right? And there's usually 2 groups on both sides of the building. And then we have the girls that have rooms of about maybe 5 or 6 per room. Each room has its own private shower. And some of the counselors will stay a nice, if it's a married couple, they might stay in a bed. We also have accommodations for families. Let's say mom wants to come with dad, and dad's a counselor, and he's with the older boys, so mom stays with the little ones. Or in some cases, the whole family stay together, and that's fine too. We also have we do have a couple of trailer hookups. We do have 2, I think we have 4 altogether at our camp. And it's at the Towanippi Christian Retreat Center in Ringe, New Hampshire. And you can actually go to their website. There is a link from our website. But if you just go to InterVarsity at Towanippi, you can see for yourself the very nice, the camp, the surroundings. They've just built a new building that your family would stay in, this old building, and they tore that down, and it's much more improved. And every year it seems to get better. They have an outdoor full-length basketball court, and we have a sand volleyball, and just all kinds of great activities. And we have a great program for the little ones. We have a program for the 5 to 10 or 11-year-olds. It's called Patriot Camp. And what they do is they learn a lot about our American history in a very fun format. We'll have some of our instructors in the colonial attire talking about these various patriots, and we'll do some singing and some arts and crafts. And the whole camp on Wednesday, we will rent 2 buses. We're going to take a trip to the Boston Tea Party Museum on the Boston waterfront, and then a trip to the State House. And we'll leave there about 9 o'clock right after breakfast and come back around 5:30, 6 o'clock for dinner. And we're going to actually throw tea in the harbor and go visit the site of the original Tea Party. And then Tuesday, it's an optional hike up Mount Monadnock, which is about 7 or 8 miles away. And we're told that Mount Monadnock is the most hiked mountain in the United States. Someone said the world. I'm not sure if it's the world or, Chris, you might remember, but one of the two. And
I think it's North America.
North America. And it's about 3,100 feet above sea level. And we usually do it between, we get there about 1 o'clock, 1:30, and most of us are down by 5. A little tired, a little bruised, maybe, right? So I think all of your children have gone up to the top of Mount Monadnock, I believe. So anyway, let me get your children on and talk about some of the things that you've learned that you can come home and help teach other people. What things that you learned about our history, maybe a special instructor that maybe was just, maybe you just really resonated with. So who wants to start?
Now, who you are.
This is Haley, and I'll say what I bring home from Camp Constitution. I've been going for 6 years now, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And my favorite instructor, I don't have one because they're all great to me. But what I do like about each instructor is that they have their all opinion on one thing, and it's not too far from everyone else's, like, they're on the same path, but it's said in a different way. I like how each class I bring home, notes, because I take notes in classes, and I take something new from every class. So, for example, Mr. Moore, he's a very famous one out of the whole entire group who's very committed to the American history, which I very much appreciate, which I think everyone does. And he talks a lot about the American flag, and he talks about the preamble, and he also sings about the preamble, which we all enjoy at the campfire. So I bring home those type of things. I love history, which is a very important part of our culture. And I also like current events, which we get out of your class, and we get out of many other people's classes, such as Ms. Harper, Mr. Camp, Mr. Pike, and...
Now you're 18. You're 18, right? So this year you're going to be a counselor.
I am going to be a counselor, but I'm not 18 quite yet. This week will be my birthday.
Well, soon. That's the same day as my son, so that's great.
Yep.
Now, are you able to, in your circles of influence outside of your home, have you been able to influence people with some of this information?
Yes, I have, actually. I have friends that do want to come to this camp, but just can't because it's in the middle of the summer.
Yes.
But I always come back with telling stories, and they are always excited to hear what I came back with because they're all excited with the news that I've come with and the knowledge that I've learned within the summer. Since I've been coming for 6 years, every time I come back with more things to say, which I think last year you actually fired a musket, didn't you? I did with Pastor Lear, which was pretty fun, but it took a few times to get there.
I think the powder, he's going to do it again this year. Hopefully the powder will be a little drier, and we won't have so many misfires. But who else can talk about their learning experiences?
We have Jillian right here.
Jillian, Jillian, hi. You've been a camper for about as many years as your sister, I think 6 years or so.
Super camper.
This is my
that's
fourth
right.
year being.
We have, by the way, for those listeners again, we have a lot of things that go on during the course of the week. We have daily room inspections, and when we inspect the rooms, we want to see cleanliness, we want to see a sense of order, but we're also looking for themes, patriotic, Christian, religious type themes, and the young people are very, very creative. At the end of the week, the room that goes the highest gets free pizza, or as we say around in New England, pizza. And we also have Super Camper, and the Super Camper is voted by the counselors. And what we do is we look for young people who show leadership abilities, academics, and really all aspects of the camp. And each person, a counselor, an instructor, or myself as camp director, we all look at a different side. We'll see all different sides. Do they participate at campfire? Are they out there helping the new campers and helping the young people? Do they ask questions? If they're falling asleep during the class or passing notes, that's probably not a good thing. And that person is usually given a free tuition for the next year's camp, if not for them, for a friend of theirs or a relative. So you've been a super camper, and I think, Haley, have you been a super camper?
I have. Jillian took it from me last.
So she's the reigning champ, huh?
Uh-huh.
And what about, is Gussie or Gabe around?
Yeah, they're right here.
All right, well, they're on the air. Tell them that there's millions of people all over the world want to know what they think of their experience with Camp Constitution.
Hi, this is Gabe.
Hey, Gabe.
I love camp a lot. It's great.
And how old are you?
I'm 11.
And your favorite part is the frogs at the pond, or the classes, or just all the fun stuff you do?
I like all the activities in the classes. They're very fun.
Okay, now you were a junior camper, right? What can you tell me about junior camp, or the Patriot Camp? What can you tell me? What did you learn the last couple of years?
Patriot Camp's really fun. We go to the pond lots of times. We do activities and stuff like that.
And you dress up in colonial outfits, right?
Yeah, sometimes we do that.
I think one day you guys did the flag raising, didn't you, or the flag lowering, right? And you folded the flag.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and you learned a lot about the colonial history, the War for Independence. Now you went on the Tea Party Museum, didn't you? Right. Last year we went to the Tea Party Museum, and you probably know all about what led to the. Why did they throw tea in the harbor? Because they didn't like the taste of tea? What was the reason?
No.
Because they wanted coffee, right? That's why. They wanted coffee, and the Dunkin' Donuts was closed up. Is that why they threw tea in the harbor?
No, because of taxation without representation.
Well, yeah, you got it. Well, that's right. They put a tax on the tea, and the people in Boston weren't too happy about it, so they decided to, some of them decided to. Do you remember the name of the man who was one of the leaders of that?
Samuel Adams.
Oh, you got it. All right. That's right. That's great. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Who else is there? Who else?
Gus is here.
Hey, Gus. And how old are you, Gus?
8.
You're 8 years old, and you've become a camp since you were really little, right?
Yeah.
So you probably don't remember the first couple of years, right?
What?
You probably don't remember the first 2 years. You're probably just 2 or 3 years old, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So now, what do you do at camp?
What?
What do you do at camp?
Well, we used to go in Cecil, but now they tore it down.
Okay.
So we play games. We go junior camper stuff. We do junior camper stuff. We sing songs. We do skits. We catch frogs. We make jokes.
Do you catch leeches too?
Yeah, and then we kill them.
All right. Well, that's so. Chris, this year you're teaching a class.
Yes, I am.
And
very much looking forward to that.
Now, Chris, I look at you as one of the key proponents of the camp program during the year, and then at the camp itself. And we have a really good talent pool over the years. We've had some pretty well-known instructors, authors like Sam Blumenfeld, and we had Dr. Michael Kaufman, and the late Dr. Mildred Jefferson. She was the pioneer in the pro-life movement, first black woman to graduate from Harvard Medical School. Dr. Kaufman is an expert on the environment. He is an environmental scientist that's refuting a lot of the Agenda 21 things. He's written several books, travels around the country. Tom Edlum, who is a writer for the New American magazine, and Tom, I think, has been to almost every camp. He does a class or two. And you mentioned, I think your son mentioned Tom Moore, who's sort of a a historian of, he's noted around the New England area, sort of a well-known, knows his stuff pretty well in colonial history. And this year, Chris Ann Hall, she's returning. This is Chris Ann Hall. I tell people who have not heard of Chris Ann Hall to just go to the internet and put in the name Mrs. Chris Ann Hall, and you'll be very impressed by what she has to offer. Also, Tom DeWeese will be here this year of the American Policy Center, and Tom is probably one of, if not the top opponent of Agenda 21. And this year it's going to be Chris Kalis, and some of our instructors. Our motto is to honor the past, teach the present, and prepare the future. And it's not just young people, but also people our age. And young guys. We're in our mid-50s. And we learn things, and we become more informed, and we give out people opportunities to go out there and do the classes. And so we're very excited about you giving a class on the conspiracy. I understand.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
It always intrigues me over the years as I become more aware of what's going on in this global agenda, is how we've been so occupied with, is there a conspiracy or not? I'm going to debunk that and just jump to the chase. There is one. Let's pick a couple of them and dissect them and talk about them. And who is the conspirators? Because it's not whether they're there, it's what are they doing? I mean, there's no question that it's going on. And so that's what we're going to delve into in my class. It's going to be fun, upbeat, like we talked about, informative. We're making a lot of inroads. Despite they're moving their agenda forward, but when there's always a give and take, and I think that we're informing our youth, and we're trying to set them up to pass the baton on to them to fight the fight.
Well, one of the big success stories in the battle of Agenda 21 was right in Ringe, the town where we host the camp, and it was just I simply was in the town hall, and Ringe is about population of about 4,000 or 5,000. 50 square miles. It's a town that goes back to the colonial era. And I happened to notice evidence of Agenda 21, and just to save a little bit of time, I just simply alerted some people through the letter to the editor and a Facebook page. And within a certain amount of time, some local citizens I befriended. In fact, some of them have been coming to camp. They organized an event. They got 200 people out, and within 5 months of that first meeting, all of the Agenda 21 proposals were defeated at the ballot box, and it was a result of informed people taking leadership. And out of that election came a group called Save Our Town, and now you will have people that will be at all the town selectmen meetings, at the planning board meetings. In the past, the only people who went to these meetings are those who were promoting the green agenda, and now you have people who are promoting limited government, and the U.S. Constitution, and that was a result of just getting the word out. Common Core is another thing that many people are going around the country discussing this, so we'll be talking about Common Core at our camp like we did last year. And one of the things we do, usually it's the last full day of camp, and this time will be a Saturday. We take out some of the older campers, and we go to the town. There's a few towns nearby, and we distribute things like the Constitution. And we also maybe some issue items. So one year, I think we visited a hospital in the town of Peterborough. We handed out a feature, a magazine, every article dealing with the evils of Obamacare. So we're trying to teach people not just to learn a lot of stuff, but to become activists, freedom activists. And I tell you what, there's nothing more impressive than adults when they see young people not just with a clipboard raising money for Greenpeace, but actually promoting liberty and freedom, because let's face it, there aren't a whole lot of young people doing that. So anyway, what else can we take out of that? Haley. Yeah.
What did you say?
So what else can you add to that as far as doing things sort of on a year-round basis with the people in your circles?
Just always informing people on what you've learned, and then doing your own research as well.
So in other words, so if I came up to you and I said I didn't, let's say I was in your, maybe worked with you in a business, I said, what do you mean we're a republic? Everyone knows it's a democracy. What would you do? What would you say?
I would say, no way, Jose.
You wouldn't say, you dummy. You'd pull out the Constitution. What would you show me? You'd show me Article 4, Section 4, and say, why don't you read this for yourself? And what would I read? That every state is guaranteed a Republican form of government, right?
Yeah.
And you may offer a reprint called Republics and Democracies that we make available. I think, by the way, every camper, every attendee, camper or staffer, gets a packet. And in the packet is the handouts that we give for the classes. There will be definitely a copy of the Constitution. There'll be a couple of DVDs. There may be a book or two, a book like the law. And we have an advanced class, and we have an entry quiz. So we have an idea of where the campers are. And the quiz isn't designed for age groups, because there are people who are 11 or 12 years old. If they're getting this stuff from their parents, they're going to do better than, say, someone who's pretty new to this, right?
Yeah.
So we discover, we'll do information tables at various venues, homeschool shows. In some cases, we offer, you take the quiz, put your name in the hat, and you get a free tuition. And you'd be surprised how little people know about the Constitution, even homeschoolers. But I tell you what, by the end of the week, we've seen people come in and get a quiz, get a grade on the quiz, 10 or 15 or 20, 20-question quiz. Even process of elimination, you could probably do okay, But then they leave and they get an 80 or an 85 or higher, right?
Yeah.
So they've learned a whole lot in 1 week, and probably more so than most political science majors in college.
Yeah, the numbers definitely do change at the end of the week, because a lot of people do pay attention and they have fun with learning as well, because it's very interesting and informative and intriguing and all that. Also, about the Constitution, I carry around Constitutions with me all the time in my purse. I carry at least 3 with me all the time.
Oh, that's
and
outstanding.
I hand them out to people.
And, there are opportunities all the time to spread the freedom message. And as long as you're looking for opportunities, they'll come our way. And that's what we encourage. Like I said, our motto, honoring the past. We honor the past, not just the distant past, let's say, the founding fathers and mothers, because we want to honor the mothers too, but also the recent past, whether it be World War II or even some events, more recent events, that we honor the people that participate in these events, teaching the present. And the present is young and old. And we say that the next generation, that's what I say anyway, I think a lot of other people at camp say it, I believe that this generation that I'm in, we sort of dropped the baton. We weren't responsible and vigilant. So we're in this mess because of that. But we picked the baton back up, and we're getting ourselves informed, and we're creating the next generation of patriots, and that's you guys and your generation, especially with the homeschool cadre. You're the ones that are going to get us back under the Constitution, because quite frankly, people my age, say 40 to 60 or 65, they're not ready for it. They're not ready for it because they don't know enough about freedom. But your generation will be the ones that will, I believe, lead us. Well, guess what? We're out of time. That's the fastest half hour in radio. So, Kayla's family, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys again. You're my good, dear friends, and we just love having you. And for those of you listening who want to learn more about us, go to campconstitution.net, where you can find videos of the Steal the Bacon and Tug of War and the classes. We have a YouTube channel. We have a couple of Facebook pages. And thanks to our sponsors, we've never had to turn away a worthy family or a camper for lack of funds. So God bless you, and hope to see you at camp. Thank you, Kayla's family.
Camp Constitution.
Excellent.
Bye, Hal.
Bye-bye now.